YOLO. Let me paint you a picture, and you can let me know in the comments below if it's accurate to real life or seems a little outdated. But you work hard in high school, you get good grades, you get into a good college, you work a part-time job, make a few $1,000s, that way you can pay for your full college tuition, books, room and board, have a little bit of fun money left over on the side, all your monthly expenses covered while you're studying. As soon as you're done in college, you take maybe about a week or so applying to a couple different jobs. They get back to you right away. You only need to have one interview to actually get hired. During the interview process, you make sure to give the interviewer a firm handshake. He hires you on the spot, gives you a nice fat starting salary compared to anyone who didn't go to college. You then work for them for about 50 years, retire, get a nice little gold watch, a little pension plan that pays for the rest of your life. And during those 50 years, you got steady pay increases and raises, promotions at nice, timely intervals. And you were able to do that while paying for a house, which you own outright, 2 cars, one for you, one for the missus. Your one-income household could cover all the expenses for the wife, the kids, and you're able to take a few vacations a year. Yeah, that's the way of the old world. That ain't it anymore. Somewhere along the lines, it seems the system has failed. Or, more accurately, which I believe, it's become rigged. You can no longer make it on a one-income household. 2 people working is still barely getting by. Everyone seems to be struggling with debt. No one's financially free. You have to ask a boss if you can have permission to spend time with your family at the holidays. Something is wrong, and something needs to change. However, in all this doom and gloom, there is a ray of hope. Since the system is rigged, that means if you can learn how to operate the rigging, you can succeed. It's like a video game. Everyone's playing different characters, doing their own thing, and then you look over and there seems to be a group of wealthy individuals all running the same character, same loadout, same perks, abilities, gear. They know something you don't. They are financially educated and you aren't. All you have to do is learn what they know or start copying them, and you'll start to be able to see progress and change that'll separate you from the 99% of the population who seem to be stuck in a constant cycle of wake up, work, pay off bills, get deeper in debt, wake up, work, and so on and so forth. There's a quote from Warren Buffett that encapsulates this beautifully, and it goes, "If you do not learn how to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die." In order to do all these things, you'll need to follow the 7 steps I'm about to lay out. These 7 steps will help you go from zero or even from negative dollars into the positive and then start making money while you sleep so that you can have financial freedom in the future and not have to stress or worry about anything. So, step number 1 is taking diligent notes of your finances. You're going to want to start keeping track of everything you spend money on and how much you spent on it each month. I would suggest you use something like Google Sheets for this. It makes the job incredibly easy, it's free software to use, and it's easy to log everything in line by line and even give descriptions for it. There's a saying I have, which is, that which can be measured can be managed. That which can be managed can be magnified. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know where your money is going if you have no way to track it and follow it. So the first step is learning where your money is going, how much money you have coming in, how much money you have coming out, and doing this every month, working the system so you can start seeing exactly where your money's going. It's during this step that you'll learn that you might have monthly recurring expenses that everyone's always saying. You don't need 3 or 4 different streaming services. I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your streaming or give up your Starbucks coffee or avoid all guac for the next 5 years. What I'm saying is, just know exactly where your money is going and how much money is going there. And is it really worth having 3 or 4 different streaming services that you maybe watch once or twice a week when you could cut one of those services out, save a little bit of money towards your next goal, which would be step 2. So you've completed step 1. You now know where every dollar and dime goes. You're ready for step 2, which is paying off credit cards or consumer debt. I use credit cards. Everybody uses credit cards. There are very few people who don't use them. But what you gotta understand is credit cards are like fire. Fire can heat your home, can cook your food, can keep you alive in winter, or fire could burn down the forest, killing everything inside it, be used as a horrible form of torture in a brazen bull, or cause asphyxiation and slow, painful death from the smoke. You have to be careful with credit cards. If you're in debt on multiple cards, what you're going to want to do is the debt snowball method. It's something Dave Ramsey talks about often, and it's basically you pay the minimum amount on all your cards except for the card that has the lowest total balance. You hit that with everything you got. Once that one's paid off, you take the money that you were paying towards it towards the next card that has the lowest balance, and so on and so forth. Your goal here is to try and get rid of all high interest debt. So things like mortgages on a home, student loans, those things are not really what you're focusing on. What you should be focusing on is personal loans, unsecured loans, car loans, those ones are horrible, and of course credit cards. It doesn't matter if you can get an average of 10% in the stock market each year if your credit card is skinning you alive at 20 to 30%. One way to help pay off high-interest consumer debt like credit cards is overtime pay. Think of it like an early game exploit. You go, you put in more hours, you get a premium for your time, since at this point in your career you probably don't have a high-paying salary or any very lucrative skills. You go, you grind the hours, you pay off the cards as quick as you can. Once they're paid off, the next step is what you need to start saving your money for. Alright, you've paid off your credit card debt. Now you move on to step 3, building an emergency fund. The best thing that you can ever buy is peace of mind. Nothing's worse than being financially free, paying off your cards, and then the transmission on your car goes out and it's a few $1,000s to fix it, and you don't have any way to cover it, so you have to go back into debt to then fix the car so you can go to work, and it's just a nasty cycle at that point. If you have an emergency fund, things like this that come up, you'll be able to tank the hit, keep on going without sliding backwards and losing progress. It's all about gaining momentum. You're going to want to try and keep your emergency fund in a high yield savings account. It's not really going to generate too much for you, not like you're trying to beat inflation with it. It's just there as peace of mind and a safety cushion. And you could also use it for the next step. Ideally, your emergency fund will be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. You're just starting out, so you're not going to have time to build up the 6 to 12 months worth of living expenses that everyone recommends. That's more of a long-term goal. Your first short-term goal is to get yourself in a position where if anything happens, you're covered, and then you can move into step 4. Step 4, reinvest in your own skill set. You are the greatest asset you're going to have in your journey to financial freedom to try and win this rigged system. What you need to do is increase your earning potential. At this point, you've paid off your debts, you have some money set aside that you could use to try and gain skills and knowledge, or you could go an alternative route and try and get an apprenticeship for something like plumbing or welding, where they will actually pay you while you learn the skill to get a job that pays even better. I decided to go with trucking. I took my entire savings, which was about $4,000, went to a 2-week trucking school, learned how to operate a tractor-trailer combination, got all the paperwork I needed, and then from there, I was actually hired out of the school to a trucking company, making more money than I ever had. If you can upgrade your earning potential, you'll be able to skyrocket how fast you can get out of the rat race. Alright, step 5. It sounds easy on paper, but a lot of people fail this step. they've paid off their debts, they're now more highly employed, they have a skill set that they could take pretty much anywhere to earn more money than they've ever made, they fall for lifestyle inflation. At this point, they want to try and get a new car. Maybe they're starting to think about getting a mortgage and buying a home. They're making more money than they have. They've upgraded. It's time to show a little bit. Splurge. You only live once. This is the stage that will determine whether you'll get stuck in a loop or if you're actually able to move on out of this. So many people buy things they don't want or need and end up with buyer's remorse just because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you can avoid lifestyle inflation, your new higher form of income will give you the money you need to build a solid foundation so that you can earn while you sleep and obtain financial freedom. Alright, step 6. You now need to take your money and invest it into cash flowing assets. Things like stocks, ETFs, and possibly, if you get enough, real estate. The key here is to start putting your dollars to work for you and keeping track of how they're doing, like you keep track of all your other finances, which you've been doing since step 1. If you're able to do this and have it generate more money and reinvest the money it generates, with stocks, it's called DRIP, D-I-R-P, Dividend Reinvestment Program. If you do this, you're going to be able to generate slowly more and more money over time, and at a certain point, it'll snowball, and your money will actually be able to generate more money for you and pay your own bills. All right, we're on to step 7. Repeat steps 1 through 6. You keep track of all your finances, what you're spending, what you're making. You pay off your consumer debt, your credit cards, or you start more aggressively paying down other debts like mortgages if you have them at this point in your life, or student loans if you had gone to college. You increase your emergency fund. You continuously learn and grow, read books, invest in your own skill set. You avoid flashy things and lifestyle inflation. You can move to a nicer area, you can buy a newer car, but you don't need to have the newest iPhone every single year. You don't need to constantly be purchasing things that you'll hardly ever use. You don't want to waste your money that you've worked so hard to get. You keep investing in cash flowing assets. Maybe diversify. If you were in stocks before, you move into real estate. If you're into real estate, you might open up a business. You have options and freedom at this point. You've escaped the rat race, essentially. You would have enough money to quit your job and pursue passion projects that you would actually be interested in. If you follow these steps, you'll be able to win this rigged system, gain your financial independence and freedom, live a higher quality of life with less stress overall. Peace of mind is something you can't put a price tag on, but you can put a pathway to get there. You can follow these steps regardless of where you're at in your financial journey or age. Whether you're in your mid-30s with a wife and kids, or if you're late teens, early 20s just starting out, following these steps will help eliminate whatever debt you're currently in and set a solid foundation for the future life that you want. These steps will work for you whether you've gone to college or whether you avoided it altogether, or if you were like me, you started and then dropped out because it just wasn't for you. Hopefully you take action on these steps and move towards financial freedom. Start gaining some momentum. I believe that there's room at the top for all of us, and I want to see each and every one of you guys get there with me. Drop a comment down below and let me know where you're at in your financial journey. And if you got any value out of the video, then drop a like also. It helps to get the word out and tell more people. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss an upload. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side.